to add more confusion to the situation, many of the running shoe stores offer a gait assessment to see what your foot is doing. This is a narrow approach for identifying sources of reoccurring injury. While it does offer a general overview of if your foot pronates, supinates, or where your foot is striking, it does not address why it's doing what it's doing. Since so many of us think that the foot is this thing at the ends of our legs, we haven't ever really thought about just what it's doing down there. The thing is that your feet are the foundation to your structure. Everything literally stands on top of your feet. Even more, everything has to stay on top of your feet when you're walking or running. But it's not always so easy for your brain to coordinate that. Remember balancing the baseball bat in your hand? You could control the bat's movements by moving your hand one way or the other, and the bat would fall accordingly. But it also works the other way. The bat could also control you by falling one way or the other and force you to make corrective efforts and try and keep the bat upright. Well, feet are having to deal with very similar situations where they can control what's happening above, or they are responding to what's happening above them. That means taking a brief visual of the feet moving doesn't really tell you what's happening. Are they in control, or are they being controlled? For example, we've all run through a parking lot during a torrential rainstorm carrying a bag of groceries. One arm is clutched to the bag as it's held closely and firmly to our body, and the other arm is just swinging madly to compensate for the unevenly distributed weight so that you can continue to move forward rather than in circles. And remember what your feet are doing? Oh yeah, they're twisting and gripping like mad to try and stabilize and push at the same time. Wow! Now if you were only to take a video of your feet while running through the parking lot, well, you'd be diagnosed with a plethora of conditions, probably none of which was feet responding to carrying a bag of groceries and running through a parking lot during a torrential rainstorm. So, herein lies the rub with using such a limited view to assess your foot's needs. The problem is that the small view of your feet, done by some shoe stores, is just too limited to actually diagnose much. In many cases, the assessment can actually lead to more problems because the recommended shoe removes the compensation patterns that the body is trying to do to accomplish other tasks. Imagine running through the rainy parking lot with those old white orthopedic shoes and braces on. Yeah, sure, your feet are pointed forward, but it's going to dramatically affect your ability to carry the groceries and run at the same time. Now, you'll either have to stop running or figure out a different way to compensate for the groceries as you run. So you might have addressed one issue, but you've created another. I see this all the time, robbing Paul to pay Peter. It's just not a good idea. The full body assessment then uses all three aspects: static assessments, functional assessments, and movement assessments to come up with the most likely underlying cause of your condition, and is usually much more successful.